And the Secret Service is under fire for another security breach, this one involving their own agents. The White House confirming that the Homeland Security Inspector General is investigating reports that two high-level agents, including the #2 man on the president's own detail, crashed a government car into a secure area at the White House. Witnesses told the Washington Post there were indications they may have been drinking after a retirement party for the agency's spokesman at a nearby restaurant. The agents are Senior Supervisor George Ogilvy and Mark Connolly, who's a member of the president's own detail. Joining me now from Baltimore is Congressman Elijah Cummings, ranking member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you, Andrea.
Well, first, your reaction to all of this.
Well, first of all, Andrea, I'm very upset about this. We've made major changes to the Secret Service with regard to leadership, but obviously there's still a lot of work to be done. And you cannot have two supervisory personnel disrupting a crime scene. And it's ridiculous. And then drinking, I got to tell you, there's a lot more work to be done. And I'm joining with Chairman Chaffetz of our committee, the Oversight Committee, and we're going to work hand in hand. We've already talked about this and put a microscope, a high-powered microscope over this agency to make sure that we get it right. I will not rest until it is right.
Congressman, I wanted to read to you from Carol Lenig's breaking news Washington Post article, where she says that officers on duty at the White House at the time wanted to arrest the agents and conduct sobriety tests, but the officers were ordered by a supervisor on duty that night to let the agents go home. Do you know if that's the case? That's a major problem. There are all kinds of problems in that, Andrea, and it shows that we still have a cultural problem within this agency. Anytime you have a supervisor who then tells people below him to just let these officers go home and sleep it off instead of doing what the regular officers want to do, that goes against everything. And I'm hoping that this gentleman who told the people under him to let these officers go, I'm hoping that that person will no longer be in a role at the Secret Service. But it also shows that why there's a morale problem. If you've got supervisors saying those things to people under them, then what does that say to the lower ranks? And so we've got, and the other piece is that you've got two supervisors drinking, driving a car, and then again disrupting a crime scene. We have to have zero tolerance. And I know Director Clancy hasn't been in there long, and I know that he's made major changes, Andrea. He's gotten rid of 4 of the top 8 assistant directors, and the deputy director is now gone, and they've been replaced. But now we've got to really dig down deep, and I'm glad that the Homeland Security Inspector General is going to be looking at this, because one thing that they will do an independent investigation, but there's something else they'll do. That is, they will bring back recommendations of things that we need to be about doing to change all of this. Congressman, one of the issues is that the outside advisory report, the task force report on the Secret Service, with all the problems that it had, Colombia and Amsterdam and all the rest, recommended that an outsider be brought in to shake it up. And with all due respect to Director Clancy, who is so highly regarded and, by everyone who knows him, and obviously by the president, that was a controversial choice. The president ignored that recommendation to bring in an outsider. Can Clancy now handle this situation, given the fact that he's very close with these two people now being investigated? I know he's not doing the investigation, but the response and the punishment.
Well, I have absolutely no doubt that he can do that. He's just basically came on board, Andrea. It's gonna take some time to weed out the bad apples. It's gonna also take some time to figure out exactly where all the problem areas might be. But I know that he has a zero tolerance attitude about all of this. And so I think let's give him a little time to do what he has to do. I know that was controversy, but again, I have confidence in him, and I think the men and women of the Secret Service do too.
Quick question. Would you consider running for the Senate? A lot of other people are jumping in.
I'm looking at it very carefully, Andrea. I want to do whatever is best to allow me to serve my constituents, and I'm looking at it.
Don Edwards is in, Chris Van Hollen, your other two colleagues. This could be a very crowded field.
Yeah, one of the great things about Maryland is that we have a deep bench on the Democratic side, and I admire all my colleagues. And so we got to figure this out. At the end, we've got to come out with a united Democratic Party, and we've got to make sure that we can defeat anybody on the Republican side when the general election comes about. It's about Maryland and making sure that Maryland is the very best that we can make it. So that's what I'm all about. That's what my whole career has been about.
Elijah Cummings, looking at it seriously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.